All right, everyone. So this is a very special episode of Ask the Expert. We have a very special guest. Of course, we have our group publisher, Mike Balzano, but we have Brandon Buteau. I said it wrong?
Yes, Buto, but
Buteau.
it's all
I'm
the
starting
same.
over.
It's
Buteau.
all the same.
It's
That's good.
not.
I
It's
like
not.
the personality. I like the jovial conversation.
Buteau. Buteau. You know what? Maybe we'll keep going. So we have Brandon Buteau. Edit that other part out, guys. uh, of the Baker Group. Brandon, why don't you tell us a little more about yourself?
All right. So Baker Group, it was the #1 rated commercial collection agency in the United States by Financial Services Review. I guess I kind of have to unblur this last year. And we have quite a few thousand clients, well over 1,000 in this space. But how I got started in this was a little over a decade ago, about 14 years ago, actually. I had a concrete company, and it was the fastest growing concrete company in San Antonio. I went from 300,000 a year to 900,000 to 3 million, and I was on pace for 12 million in our third full year. And I got burned for a little over $1 million on some industrial and commercial projects. This is a general contractor, prime contractor type of stuff. Luckily, well, half my family's blue collar, half my family's legal. So on my mom's side, she manages a bunch of nationwide offices for a large law firm. So I had the wherewithal to secure all of my invoices that were outstanding, bond claims, mechanics, liens, depends on the types of projects. Federal, it gets a little convoluted and complicated, but I was able to secure most of that, and that ended up covering a lot of my supplier debts, concrete, steel, gravel, trucking, all that type of stuff. But it was a whirlwind for a few years. I went through all the legal processes, which, to not make a long story long, my dad had told me during this whole thing, don't stick your head in the sand. Go ahead and absorb all the information that you can get. It's going to suck, but go through the lawsuits, good suits, bad suits, sit the stand, go through depositions, and I did all that. Now, after that, being in my mid-20s, it never felt foreign to me again, right? I'd been through all of that type of stuff, which a lot of people don't experience that early in their business career. And since I had such a bad taste in my mouth from the construction industry, because people had shaken my hands and, oh no, we're going to pay you that $350,000. That's been billed. It's next month's going to be fine. Everything's good. And then of course they don't pay you, and then they just drag you out for another 30, 60, 90, 120, whatever it is. And cash is king in all business. So I had such a bad taste in my mouth that I decided to start up Baker and help contractors that had gotten burned as well. So it started off with trades contractors, and obviously roofing restoration is part of that. So we really have helped out. I think we have well over 1,000 clients in the restoration, large loss, carpet cleaners, mitigation. So we definitely help people collect their money. That's the gist of it. So we take it all the way through the end of the process, and judgments are great, but cash in our client's bank account is better.
Absolutely. I think we all agree with that one.
I think it's interesting that you learn from your mistakes. Not even your mistake. You learn from being people taking advantage of you, and I think it's such a good lesson in every industry. If you just don't repeat something you did, great things happen. You're a testament to that right now, Brandon.
Oh, absolutely. So one of the partners at my mom's law firm, he takes me out for lunch afterwards, and I'm still licking my wounds, right? I mean, I'm upside down actually at the time, but still pulling up the boots and getting through it. And he goes, "Hey, I wanted to let you know something." Now, this is a guy that does very well, and and he goes, "I wanted to let you know that you're only in your mid-20s, and most people don't even do this until they don't even build something this big until they're in their 40s or 50s. And of course, most people that do end up eventually becoming successful have failed a few times, right? That's where you learn from." He goes,
Absolutely.
What you just did is better than getting a master's from Harvard in business." And then he's eating this wing, and he starts laughing, and I'm not finding it funny because I'm like, I know I lost $1 million, but I'm still like 400,000 or 500,000 upside down. And he starts laughing while eating a wing at Pluckers here in Houston. And he goes, "Costed you a lot more than a master's in Harvard business." And I'm like, "Buddy, the wound is still open."
Yeah.
So, but it's true. If you live it, it's way more impactful for the long term than if you read about it. You know, you can learn from
Right.
reading other people's mistakes, but when you actually feel it and absorb it and your family has to suffer because of your mistakes, you tend to not make that mistake again, or less likely to.
Exactly. Exactly. So stemming from that and all the lessons that you've learned, I know that we have a really cool venture that we are partnering with you guys, the Baker
Yes,
Group, in doing.
correct.
Mike, did you want to kind of chime in?
If I could jump in, yeah, no, I like to jump before we get to that. I mean, you before you talk about our venture, which we're very excited about, you started another venture yourself with a bunch of other really killer companies in our space. Can you tell me a
Oh
little bit
yeah.
about the group?
Correct. So Restoration Networks is a group of 4 companies, and we've been using each other. So we don't step on each other's toes.
Hmm.
A billing
Mhm.
company, we don't do billing. We take it from after the billing process. So we have a Restoration Billing, which is RBI, RI Billing, and
Mhm.
Copper Canyon Law
Mhm.
and Business Networks. Business Networks is a consulting firm. They help with all operations. They have really in-depth meetings. RI Billing, Joseph, they do billing because he likens billing in the restoration space and insurance billing, restoration insurance billing is convoluted, similar to medical billing, right? That's where they got the model from, the back end of all the different things that you need to know with the different billing procedures and whenever you're going, you know, a large loss or regular insurance billing. And then Copper Canyon Law for a lot of what we kind of partner on are denied claims. And Ryan at Copper Canyon used to be on the insurer's side. So he was on the large companies side. So he knows the inner workings of the back end of how the denied claims works and um, what are they called? Master switches to turn on and off during that legal process to get the ball rolling on proper denied claims that were not, not shouldn't have been denied in the first place, let's say. Because we're going to see a lot more of that too, because of the way that I don't know if people have known, but US credit rating has gone down 2 notches now, apparently. And what happens is the bank lending the delta in the back end of that prime rate. And I don't want to get all financial with everybody, but insurance companies, large insurance companies, are bank backed, right? That's where they're. So if you see a constriction on credit on the back end, there's going to be a lot more denied claims. Let's just say. I mean, this is economics 101. And what they'll do is they'll just deny a swath larger than they would have denied before and let whoever wants to fight it out, fight it out. That way, the only people that are going to end up getting paid is the last man standing, or the people that are willing to either outsource to companies like us or stomach it and cash roll it for that long if you have the cash to cash roll it.
Okay. So Brandon, I have a question. What exactly, see, I'm just hearing, I'm loving like just the community over competition. And it seems
Uh-huh.
like that is something that you have, put at the forefront of just who you are and just of your company. But like, just how did that all happen? Like, what made you all want to do that? Just come together.
So Joseph and I,
Mhm.
I'm glad you asked. Joseph and I had first met, ironically, 4 years ago at the Experience,
Mhm.
which is coming up here in the next month. And we hit it off, and he said that he had always been looking for a really good, proper professional collection agency to outsource to. Well, he sent us like 10 or 15 or 20 of his clients that, in the billing process, he just couldn't get it done because they're a little bit harder than just regular, phone calls. So we handled them extremely well. And his clients got back to him and were like, "Hey, we absolutely love this company." So he calls us. He goes, "Man," he goes, "I've been looking for years for a company because I hate telling my clients, hey, we can't get it done." And then, it doesn't mar the relationship, but you're not able to facilitate the full process.
Mhm.
Well, then we took some of our clients and that we saw, because we're the one that get the invoice, all sorts of billing mistakes, billing problems on the front end. So it makes it harder for us to collect on the back end. So we send it over to Joseph. They sign up with Joseph. They do the billing with Joseph. They're like, "Hey, we love it. We're able to actually kind of outsource a portion of our department to people that are way smoother." And then with the denied claims, it came with Ryan, and then everybody's really good friends with Les. Les is really well known in the restoration community. I mean, he's been doing it for decades, and everybody respects him. And Les is a very honest, hardworking, just good, truthful. Everybody that would want to do something on the operations side would use Les. The other
Let me
thing
interrupt
is,
for 1 second, Brandon.
yeah.
For the two people out there who don't know, that's Les Cunningham we're talking about.
Oh,
Just for the
yes.
1 or 2 people who don't know. Go on.
For the 2 people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I've always taken the stance in business: do what you're good at and become an expert or the number one in your space. Don't try to do everything, because then you get so strung out and you're doing everything inefficiently. So I've never really I've always wanted to grow what we're good at to the pinnacle, as opposed to try and like capitalize on all this tertiary stuff. And the way that Restoration Networks is set up, we all stay in our lane. We have a very good communicative, symbiotic relationship. Nobody's trying to capture anybody else's things, and we're perfectly fine trusting handing our clients off to the other. And that's a big deal in business, because if I would hand them off our clients to any of those guys and they would mess it up, it looks bad on us, and we didn't even do anything wrong, technically speaking. So having business partners in that type of realm that you can trust to create an end-to-end solution for your clients, you kind of become an invaluable resource to the group of people that you're helping service.
If you could just see the whole process through, be like, okay, well, then we're going to pass you on to our partner that does this, and they pass you on to the partner that does that.
Correct.
So you see the entire process through. That is perfect. Mike, did you have anything that you want to chime in on?
I love the relationship of Restoration Networks. I mean, you've got the insurance, you've got an attorney, collections, all the proper cash flow from head to start to finish. I mean, it's really a brilliant kind of setup. And I'm not just saying this because you're here. We were talking about that off screen, Mildred and I, earlier. It's just a nice setup. We're so happy we're going to be working with you. Speaking of which, I think it's time we announce that you are going to be working with us and your entire team, because we're very excited. This is going to lead us into a monthly feature we have with R&R and rnrmagonline.com. It's going to be called Restoring Cash Flow with the Restoration Networks. And we're going to have 4 different webinars, a quarterly webinar each year. A quarterly webinar each year, yes, 4 of them. And the off months, we're going to be shooting videos like this with one of the 4 of the main companies involved in this. So you tell me, people, do you have problems with your collections or getting the money you need or accounts receivable? I have a feeling yes. I probably should see a lot of nods. Well, we're going to be the place to go. And these professionals we have right now, I'm talking too much already. I'll stop in a second. The professionals that we have coming on we're so excited to have them help you. And so thank you, Brandon. And what do you want to talk about as far as the series?
So I like to think things like the symbiotic relationship with us, Les, Ryan, Joseph, very similar to you guys, honestly. I believe that the members and clients are going to get a much needed value add, and there can be an open forum of questions. And I don't know what we're going to organically, I guess, see where the whole thing goes. But I really see a lot of people are afraid to call an attorney. You're going to get a $1,500 bill, just to pick his ear or see if your contract's messed up. This is a way for people that are in restoration or in the space to get valuable, needed information, and in real time too. That's the beauty about it, because the industry changes so quickly that I think that this is a needed resource, especially with, I think, what's about to be coming up in the next year, 2 years, 3 years. Mm-hmm. The ones that are able to make the dynamic changes quickly, the companies, are going to thrive, and there's going to be a lot of companies that fall off. And that's cyclical, but I absolutely think that we're about to go through one of those cycles. I've been through 2 of them, 2 up, down, up, down, up, down. So I guess 3 cycles. And for anybody that hasn't been through it, it does happen quite quickly. And some people that we know right now that seem like they're doing great, the cash flow goes fast. And if you're not at the top of the totem pole, you're not getting paid, type of scenario. So I think it's a huge valuable resource, and I really have a personal connection to it, because obviously I shut down a company because of cash flow. So I know what it feels like.
Right. Well, Brandon, I'm just so excited. And I thank you so much for just being willing to kind of chat with us just at the beginning to kind of kick this whole thing off. Mike, do you have anything else that you want to add?
Every month, Brandon, Mr. Cunningham, one person from each of the 4 pillars of this great organization are going to be joining us on the videos, taking turns. They're going to be combining for the webinars. The first webinar is going to be, and I want to say October 22nd or 24th. We'll be announcing that pretty soon, and every 3 months after that. And come see them at the experience. They're major sponsors of ours. We're so happy to have them all aboard individually and as the Restoration Networks as a group. 6th through the 8th, of course, at Caesars Forum in Las Vegas. Coming up, plenty of time to register and come see these great people and so many
Our
more.
booth will be right when
I
you
just want
walk
to thank
in.
you for taking some time. This is exciting. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Us too. We're awesome. You can get by. All 3 of us are going to be a lock arm.
Well, we'll
in
be
the
hanging
front,
out
so you
together.
can't get by us.
And we'll be hanging out.
I hope so.
Their booth is right
I
when you
hope so.
walk in. We'll be at booth 209. And guys, this is really where the industry is headed. It is community over competition. This is where things are headed. This is literally how you win and how you best serve your clients in the community. So I really want everybody to think about that. I'm really excited. I hope that you learn so much, because there's going to be so much education from people from all of these different backgrounds, as Brandon mentioned. And I'm just excited, and I'm excited for everybody to learn. So this has been a really great episode of Ask the Expert. And hey, guys, just stay tuned for what we have in the future.